10 hidden etiquette clues only classy men recognize. You won't believe No.4. Most people think etiquette is about rigid rules or outdated traditions, like knowing which fork to use or when to say pardon me. But real class? It lives in the quiet, nearly invisible moves that most people never notice. The way you place your mirror at a cafe, how you hold a wine glass, or the moment you choose to make eye contact. These are the codes of the refined, and classy men? They decode them without even thinking. In this video, you're going to discover 10 hidden etiquette clues that set truly refined men apart. These aren't things people teach you in school or even at home. They're the social secrets of people who move with grace, confidence, and a quiet kind of power. And if you stay till the end, I'll share a bonus insight, one that will change how people perceive you the moment you walk into a room. Let's begin. Clue number 1, mirror placement. How subtle reflections signal status awareness. You might think a mirror is just something to check your hair or your tie, but if you've ever walked into a well-designed space and felt calm, balanced, and oddly impressed without knowing why, chances are a mirror was doing silent work in the background. Classy men understand this. They don't hang mirrors randomly. They place them with intention. A mirror opposite the main seating area? That's not vanity. That's spatial intelligence. It reflects not just light, but presence. It says, I'm aware of my environment, and I understand how it reflects me, literally and symbolically. There's a psychological layer here. Mirrors positioned at eye level, never too high, never too low, speak to emotional balance. You're not trying to look down on others, and you're not hiding. You're meeting the room at eye level. In luxury homes, you'll rarely see a mirror shoved in a corner. Instead, it's framing a fireplace, catching natural light, or offering an indirect view of a key detail, like a piece of art or the entryway. It's a subtle but powerful clue. You control perception without saying a word. That's elegance in silence. Clue number 2, shoe to floor noise. What your footsteps say about your upbringing. You might not have thought of this before, but the sound your shoes make when you walk into a room reveals more about you than your resume ever will. Classy men? They don't stomp, they glide. Their footsteps are soft, measured, and composed, almost like a signature written in rhythm. It's not just about the shoes, it's about awareness. A loud, clunky footfall feels intrusive. It says, I didn't consider how I'm entering your space. It reeks of either carelessness or worse, entitlement. But a quieter, confident step? That tells the room, I belong here and I respect this space. Behavioral researchers have even found that the rhythm and volume of footfall influence how others perceive your confidence. A steady, unhurried pace is associated with self-assurance and upbringing rooted in consideration. It's why in refined spaces, luxury hotels, art galleries, old libraries, you'll notice people don't just barge in. They move like they're part of the environment, not conquering it. Here's a simple test. The next time you walk into a room with a hard floor, listen to yourself. Are you entering like thunder or like grace? Because in silent spaces, footsteps are louder than words. Clue number 3, delay before sitting, the unspoken rule of spatial respect. Watch closely the next time a refined man enters a room, especially one with multiple people already seated. He doesn't just walk in and drop into the nearest chair. He pauses. That pause, it's not hesitation, it's awareness. And it speaks volumes. Classy men understand that how you enter a space sets the tone for how you'll be received in it. That moment before sitting is a silent assessment of the mood, the people, the energy. It's spatial respect, and it shows that you're not just present, you're intentional. Picture this. A man arrives at a business dinner. Instead of rushing to pull out a chair, he greets the table with eye contact, maybe a nod or a firm handshake. Then he waits half a second, just enough to acknowledge the space and the people in it. Only then does he take his seat. That pause says, I'm not driven by urgency. I choose my moment. It's a small move, yes, but it creates presence. It tells the room you're not trying to disappear into it. You're owning your place within it. In a world obsessed with speed, stillness is the real power move. Clue number 4, glance duration when greeting. Timing that conveys power without arrogance. There's a science to eye contact, and classy men have it down to an art. When you greet someone, The length of your glance tells them everything they need to know about your confidence, your respect, and your intent. And the sweet spot? It's 3 to 5 seconds. That's it. Any shorter, and you seem disinterested, like you're scanning for someone more important. Any longer, and it starts to feel confrontational, even predatory. But that perfect 3 to 5 second window? That's where trust is born. Classy men use it wisely. They lock eyes just long enough to say, I see you, I acknowledge you, I'm present, and then they move on, effortlessly without clinging. Think of it like music. It's not just the note, it's how long you hold it. Here's a trick to master it. Next time you shake someone's hand or say hello, count in your head, quietly, like a rhythm. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3. You'll notice something fascinating. The person relaxes. They feel seen but not scrutinized. That's power without arrogance. And it leaves an impression that lingers long after the glance is over. Clue number 5. Sleeve adjustments at the table, micro gestures that signal social calibration. There's something strangely elegant about a man who, just before a meal begins, subtly adjusts his sleeve, maybe straightens a cuff or smooths a fold at the wrist. Most people won't consciously register it, but they'll feel it. Why? Because gestures like these are signals. They whisper, I'm here, I'm composed, and I'm tuned in. Classy men don't fidget, they calibrate. And sleeve adjustments are one of those micro movements that serve a social function far beyond comfort. It's the same principle you see in a pianist adjusting their bench before touching the keys, not because they're unsure, but because they're ready. In refined settings, dinners, boardrooms, high-level gatherings, this small gesture often cues others to pay attention. It resets energy. It reintroduces presence. And unlike loud statements or big movements, it works precisely because it's understated. You're not drawing attention to yourself. You're simply realigning your posture with purpose. So, next time you're at the table, try it. No drama, just intent. Smooth your sleeve, roll it back slightly. Not to show off, but to say silently, I'm present and I value this moment. Because elegance often lives in the smallest signals. Clue number 6. Listening posture tilt, a silent indicator of intellectual confidence. Watch how a truly classy man listens. He doesn't slouch back like he's too cool to care, and he doesn't lunge forward like he's trying to devour the conversation. Instead, he leans in, just slightly. That gentle forward tilt? It's a quiet signal that says, I'm here. I respect what you're saying. You have my attention. Body language experts have long noted that this subtle movement builds instant rapport. It makes you appear more engaged, more intelligent, and more emotionally grounded. And here's the nuance. When done right, it shows interest without looking needy. It's the difference between, I want to understand you, and please like me. The posture is open, shoulders relaxed, eyes steady. You're leaning in just enough to close the psychological gap without invading space, and people feel it. They trust it. Next time you're in a conversation, especially one that matters, resist the instinct to lean back and play it cool. Instead, lean in just a touch. Because when you master the art of silent listening, people won't just remember your words. They'll remember how deeply they felt heard. And that's what intellectual confidence looks like without saying a single thing. Clue number 7, the napkin fold test, what your fold says about your social circle. At the end of a meal, most people casually toss their napkin aside, crumpled and forgotten. But you're not most people. And if you're aiming to move with quiet class, this small detail speaks volumes. Classy men don't crumple, they fold. Not obsessively, not for show, just with quiet precision. A gentle fold, neatly left on the table, says more about you than you'd think. It says, I was present, I respected the space, and I left it better than I found it. In elite etiquette schools across Europe and Asia, this is taught as a subtle signature of refinement. Because folding your napkin is never just about tidiness, it's about respect for the host, for the space, for yourself. It also hints at the kind of people you surround yourself with. People who notice details, who believe class isn't about wealth, it's about grace in the small things. So the next time you dine, whether it's a 5-star restaurant or a friend's dinner party, pause before you leave. Fold your napkin quietly, because presence isn't just how you show up, it's how you leave. Clue number 8, avoiding doorframe leaning. Why classy men never break vertical boundaries. There's something quietly jarring about seeing someone lean against a doorframe, shoulder slouched, foot kicked back, weight dumped to one side. It looks casual, sure, but it also reads as unsettled. Classy men don't do this, not because they're stiff or overly formal, but because they understand what posture communicates. Leaning against a doorway unconsciously signals either disengagement or passive dominance, like you're too comfortable or too indifferent to integrate with the room. Instead, refined men maintain what I like to call relaxed verticality. Their posture is upright but not tense, alert but not aggressive. They hold themselves with quiet readiness, as if they could step forward at any moment, fully present. It's the physical version of saying, I respect this space and I belong in it. This isn't about military rigidity. It's about subtle presence, about grounding yourself rather than spilling into the frame of the room like you're waiting for life to start. So the next time you're at an event, a gathering, or even just waiting your turn, don't lean. Stand tall, stay light, and let your posture say what words never could. I'm grounded, I'm aware, and I move with purpose. Clue number 9, response lag in conversation, controlled pauses that build command. Have you ever noticed how some men seem to command attention without raising their voice? One of their secrets is silence. Classy men don't rush to speak. They pause. That slight delay, just 1 or 2 seconds before replying, isn't hesitation. It's power. It signals that you're not reacting, you're processing. You're giving weight to what's been said before offering your thoughts. In fact, studies in communication psychology have shown that a brief pause before responding makes people appear more intelligent, more trustworthy, and more emotionally stable. It suggests you're not trying to impress, you're simply considering your words. The insecure fill silence with noise. The refined, they let the space speak. Picture a boardroom or a quiet conversation over wine. The man who holds the pause isn't awkward, he's deliberate. He creates room for others to listen. He owns the rhythm of the exchange. So next time you're asked a question, pause. Just a breath. Let it land, because in conversation, silence isn't a gap to fill. It's a space to own. And those who master it are remembered not for what they said quickly, but for what they said intentionally. Clue number 10, the chin nod exit, how the subtle head dip ends a conversation gracefully. Exiting a conversation is an art, and like all refined gestures, the most powerful moves are the quietest. Classy men don't fumble their goodbyes. They don't abruptly turn away, wave like they're hailing a taxi, or linger awkwardly. Instead, they offer the chin nod. It's a small downward tilt of the head, just enough to say thank you for this moment without needing a single word. Warmer than a wave, gentler than a full nod, and far more elegant than simply walking off. In elite social settings, diplomatic events, black tie galas, private clubs, this is the gold standard for ending a conversation gracefully. It signals closure, but also respect. It acknowledges that the exchange mattered, even if brief. You're not just exiting, you're wrapping the moment in silk. Pro tip, pair the chin nod with a soft, genuine smile. Not a grin, not performative charm. Just a flicker of warmth in the eyes. It was good speaking with you. Then move on. Because in the world of classy men, the way you leave says just as much as how you arrived. If you've made it this far, you're definitely one of us. Drop the word classy in the comments below so we know you watched to the end. Bonus point, the breath check before speaking, the invisible signal of emotional intelligence. This one's just for you, for staying, for listening, for wanting to be better. Classy men have a secret weapon most people never notice. They take a calm breath before speaking, especially in tense, emotional, or high-stakes situations. That breath, it changes everything. It softens the tone, centers your energy, and signals control. It's how you move from reacting to responding. And in that moment, you go from impulsive to intentional. A study published in Harvard Business Review found that leaders who pause before speaking are consistently rated as more thoughtful, more trustworthy, and more emotionally intelligent. This breath becomes your anchor. It separates confidence from chaos. Try it. The next time you're about to defend yourself, prove a point, or deliver something important, breathe first. Watch how the room shifts. Watch how people lean in instead of pulling back. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause. Now that you know these hidden clues, the challenge is simple. Practice just one a day. Like this video to support our growth and help YouTube show it to more people who need it. Subscribe to the channel for more daily content like this. And if you found even one point helpful, share this with someone who wants to level up their presence. Thank you so much for watching. We've also handpicked the perfect video on your screen to watch next. It'll take you even deeper. We'll see you back tomorrow. Until then, stay classy.